I can be pretty lazy. And one day I'm going to get too lazy with magic and end up hurting myself. I have before. I know I have before. Like piecing out of a middle column exercise. I just get bored doing that kind of shit. Like I know it's good to do that stuff and all everything, but I don't know. Does it really help? I can visualize the same thing. But anyway, I mean, yeah, let me think about that. Yeah, I mean, it's just breathing and visualization and breathing. I mean, breathing's important because the more you breathe in, the less of your own energy you're using, theoretically, because the energy's out here. Yeah, so you want to take deep breaths and get that in you, so that you're replacing whatever energy you're using by doing whatever fucking thing you're doing. But I leave in the house and I have on the inside of the door I have runes that I did in chalk for protection. I have the just a general arch kind of protection, like just for a door. I should know what it's called, but I don't. And then one for lower vibrational entities, demons, and shit like that. Specifically, in specific. Although, you know, I take precautions anyway. My doors and my windows, I always salt them. Just charge the salt, of course, you know. Your little stuff that you do. And I was leaving, I noticed the chalk runes were running off because sometimes I hang clothes there and the water drips down and it kind of smeared the chalk off the door. Now, you know, most normal people, most people who are into this kind of stuff or understand this kind of stuff would just get the fucking chalk, charge everything, and redraw the fucking thing in, right? Not me. I am too busy. I have to leave the house. I just I pass my hand over it and I do visualizations of it. I'm just going to charge the door. I'm going to recharge these instead of fixing them up. I'm just going to charge them. But I used the wrong color. So I did nothing. I said someday I'm going to do something like that where I'm going to hurt myself. You know? You can change the color of your visualizations. You can change the color. Like, say you're working with healing energy. And you determine that when you move that around, it's going to be green, right? But for some reason, whatever reason, you decide that you want to use green for something else, you can work that out. But you can't do it on the fly. You know, you can't do it as you're using it. You know, like I didn't stop and say, you know, I'm going to use my charge is now going to be, because I did yellow by mistake. Now the charge is usually orange. Charge I leave for charging and whatever else that can slot into it that don't have a color for. So I fucking charge it with yellow. And I don't even know what that is. I don't think I have it designated yellow for anything. So I did nothing. It doesn't hurt me. It just means those runes are probably not that great. I just try to chalk, you fucking lazy piece of shit, you know? Whatever. Taking a walk down to the bank today. Nice and early. You leave before, if I leave before 10 o'clock, it's so much nicer out here. All the problem people sleep a little later. Like all the people that I have to avoid. Nonsense tornadoes and, you know, diversity. They usually sleep a little, they sleep later. They don't come out this early. So it's nice this early. Reminds me of old Waikiki. Like pre-pandemic Waikiki. Kind of looks like this. Just a bunch of Asians and white people. You know, and I include like Islanders in the Asian group because, you know, they are Asians. But like, there's more of like Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. You know, there's a huge population there, and no white people. That's you get visited, of course. I'm in a tourist area. 10 million tourists a year come through here. We try to get out of the way of these people. So it's you know, you get all kinds of people from all over the world. But for the most part, living day to day here, it's you see mostly Asians and white people. Oh, you used to pre-pandemic. Now you see a lot of African people. You know, well, whatever. What are you gonna do? It's just, you know, you gotta just be smart about how you walk, how you move around, and where you go and what time you're going now. No problem. I let my skills in that regard get atrophied though, just because, you know, I'd gone almost 10 full years of not being around that element. Like before I moved here, I lived in the woods of New Hampshire, and it was great because no one had any reason to be out there unless you lived there. There wasn't any shopping center, you know, because if you have anything, right, you're going to get a bad element there eventually. People will show up. And thanks, man. People will show up and ruin things once they learn about it. But we had nothing up there for anyone to ruin. We had a John Deere showroom, and that was it. You couldn't even walk on the streets there because the roads were so narrow, the back roads that we used to travel through. You couldn't walk on them or you're gonna get hit by a fucking car. And then I lived in a house in the nice cul-de-sac where it was just other people who own houses. No one's walking through our neighborhood that doesn't belong there. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just fucking us. So we didn't have to worry about nothing. I didn't have to worry about anything. There was no problems. It was just me. So it was nice. So I wasn't around that. And I wasn't for the first how many years I lived here until they started bringing them. And as you see, that's all you see now. Whatever. It's all right. You know, the good days are over. I had good days here. I think 2016 to 2019 here was awesome. Those are the last good days here that anyone would ever see. Because once they do something like this with the population, with the demographic, it's done. They're not going anywhere. It's going to get worse and worse. You know, and more people have problems. Like, fuck, we got to get out of here. And they get out of here. Well, who else is going to come in? Who else is going to move in? You know? More of the same kind of people. Like that. I watched it happen all over the East Coast. And it can happen here. It can happen here. But I think they have plans for here that are even worse. Hawaii signed on to this, like 2015. They signed something about sort of like green living, where one of the things is like a stack and pack living. You know, a lot of like young guys, just young African dudes. You must have seen like 5 of them already here, like just by themselves, just kind of hoofing it along, looking for opportunity. Yeah, they've signed on for this thing that's going to basically make housing like warehousing. What they want for this place, in my opinion, is to turn it into a hotel destination only, like one of those places where you go and you just stay at the hotel. Maybe this street they would close down and kind of fortify, because you can't have it open to the public because they're going to have like a ghetto around us. There's all this area like where I live is going to be like a ghetto. It's going to be like fucking Rio de Janeiro or something. And to that end, they put in the rail. What the rail does is it's going to take the people who work here, for the rich, because it's going to be just rich people coming in, and they're going to ship them out at night to go live in the stack and pack fucking warehouse. And these stack and pack places are fucking crazy. They're like human warehouses. And your apartment is like a hallway, kind of. You got a little bed. There's no windows. You have a vent, but it goes to the next fucking hallway to yours, the next room to yours. It's crazy. But they're very cheap. By then, I think they're gonna, have people on UBI, Universal Basic Income, but you also be able to work. And some will be able to work to get more benefits or something. So, I mean, this is where, because they need workers here to manage all this stuff, but, they have to have someone do it. And then they're going to be, as they do that stuff, then at night they take the rail out and go back to away from the ocean, away from the mountains, away from anything nice, purposely. A place with like no views. Like there's one low-income housing place here that's on what looks like used to be an old military base. And the buildings are all like metal and tin. It must get so hot in these things. They do that purposely. They want to break your spirit. They want to, they want to hurt you any way they can. But yeah, I think like in the neighborhoods like I live in now, they're going to turn them into like a place where if you leave your hotel, you're going to get robbed. I think maybe even this would be too much. Maybe what'll happen is the hotels will carve up a certain piece of this road and they'll fence it in that if you go to this hotel, they have all this area and these shops are part of this hotel. That way you keep people on hotel grounds. They're not just going to be wandering around everywhere. Because if you do, it's going to be like, there'll be robbery. There'll be fucking hostages. Like a lot of travel destinations where you go, let's go to Jamaica, it's nice, yeah. Just don't run into any people that live there. Stay in the hotel and you're fucking fine, That's how it is. That's what I think. There's going to be something like that. Especially with people that work here. Definitely the stack and pack, shuttling workers in and out thing is definitely going to be part of it. Did I forget my... Oh, I did. I forgot my wallet. I got to go all the way back home. I forgot my wallet. Oh, well. It's exercise. I guess I spent some time too. I just reached for my wallet to get my bank information ready. I left it at home. It's alright. What time is it? It's early in the morning. It's like 8:30. We're good. Yeah, and it's something like that. They're gonna do something like that. Let me turn this off so I can check my pockets just to make sure I don't, Looking at that Charlie Clark Patsy. That's everywhere. I like to go into comment sections and talk about Mossad and get people really angry. What are you talking about, Schizo? I'm used to it, But yeah, there's a video I posted in my community tabs where a guy pretty much breaks it down exactly why it was Israel, why they did it. And basically it's they're that how I always talk about like Satan is going into the abyss and his arms are flapping around trying to get anything he can. That's Israel right now, because they know that the tide is turned on them here in America. They need young white people because they're trying to get them killed, So younger white people generation, the Zoomers and the millennials aren't into them. They don't have them like they had the other generations. They have a very low opinion. That's why Netanyahu's out there doing fucking podcasts, because they know where their base is. And that's also why we've seen a clapback on this woke thing, a walking back of it. I talked about this a long time ago. They've been talking about it on poll too. They have the Simpsons sign where the taps the sign on the bus. How it's saying, this a long time ago, they're saying they're going to walk back all this stuff. And once in a while, you'll get like one of these people that claim to be insiders, or people think are some kind of insider, will drop some kind of knowledge. Sometimes it ends up being nothing. Other times it ends up being incredibly prescient. And this guy had come there a couple of years ago and saying, yeah, they're going to do a 180 on this woke shit. Some of us felt they would do a 360 and it would remain the same, but no, they did. The reason is because they need to get white men engaged again with the country, because they need them to go fight in a war for Israel. But again, as I've explained, Israel doesn't need you to fight a war for their country against another country. I don't care. Iran, I don't care. Bullshit. It's bullshit. It's all fucking all fake. What they want is just the war so that they can kill you off. They can kill the young white men off. The biggest threat to them are young white people. Is their biggest threat, because no one else poses any threat to them. They don't care about anybody else. They own the blacks. They're not afraid of the Latinos. They're not afraid of anybody except that demographics of white males. Young white males are afraid of them because they know they need them to survive. Not only do they need them to get into war so they can kill them off, they need them to keep their support in America, because they're the only ones now that support them. They were realizing that, so that's why they had to turn this woke thing back. Yeah, this guy lays it out really well. I'd never heard of him before. I noticed the title of his video, and I'm like, yeah, that's what people have been saying in schizo circles for a long time. And it makes sense. At first, it didn't make sense. I'm like, why would they kill Charlie Kirk? But he was afraid of them too. People near him, I guess, were saying that he was afraid they were going to come after him. He was talking about Epstein. That's why they shut the Epstein shit down, because it leads right to them. And they already have people have a bad impression of them now in America. And they need America for a little bit longer. They want to, like I always say, they've squeezed all the resources out of it that they can. There's a little bit more to go around. They got to squeeze a little bit more out of it before they're already abandoning it for China, basically. But there's still a little more that they want to squeeze out of here. There's still more killing to do. Yeah, check that out if you have a chance. Alright, I'm going up to get my bank information. I'm gonna make another run over there. Thanks for popping in. It's nice to be checked on. Until next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school.